Good morning, and good morning. How you doing this morning? Glad to have you in this space. I tell you, it's been a stressful week. Something's constantly going on. Something is required of you, of me, and we don't always know what to do with it. But stress, as we will talk about today, it says it is the silent killer. We don't think we're going through anything, but guess what? We are. We are. We can try to maneuver whatever way we want to, but we may resort to different things. Some of us may go with drinking. Good morning, Joan. Some of us may go with more smoking. Some of us may be doing illegal drugs, maybe sleeping too much. We may be agitated all the time. We may be frustrated. I mean, there's just so many things that could be going on with us that are stressing our lives because we're under stress and we don't realize it. Now, it says there's two types of stresses. The first stress is, basically it's an acute stress, and an acute really looks at, it came up. It just came up. And then there's chronic stress. And chronic stress is obviously something that could be ongoing. You call yourself getting used to it. Acute stress is short term. Chronic stress, it may be long acting or reacting. We just know our behavior is a little different. And so every time it comes up, it could be a trigger, could be a trigger from our past. It could be loss of a loved one. It could be, failure at the job or difficulty with people at the job. Those are all stressors. We may not see them as that. Good morning, Erica. How are you? Happy Friday to you too, sweetie. We may not even realize it, but stress gets in us. It gets in our demeanor, our makeup, and sometimes camouflaged on the outside, people can't see the stress you're going through. You know it's stress. You know it. Sometimes the only way stress can be determined is if you go to the doctor and they say, "What's going on?" Because your blood pressure is over 200. You're having some issues, which kind of suggests that more is being done inside than what you're talking about or revealing outside. Good morning, good morning. What you say, Debbie? Wait a minute, I got to put on my little glasses to see on the side. These letters are so small. Oh, it says you look ready for the runway, girl. All right. I'm gonna do a runway come Saturday. I think it is tomorrow. Well, yeah, tomorrow I'm gonna do one. So let's see what happens. But good morning to you too, sweetie. Good. It's just good to have you regulars in the space. I love it. So you always have to realize that life is, regardless of what we think we are going on, internally something is going on. And it may not be revealed to our family, our friends, no one, but we may be the people that stay up all night, worry. We may be the ones who are concerned with our finances, the money, as they say, the money is funny. Or we may be the ones who are worried about our children, who they're hanging with. Are they all right? Are we those kind of parents that still have concern and not realize that we don't have any other way of getting that information out to someone else to say, hey, look, I need to talk to somebody. And this is what it says about stress. It says different people will react differently to stressful situations. True. It says a situation may seem stressful to one person and not stressful to someone else. Overall, most or any situations can cause stress. Most. That means even good things, y'all, can cause us to have stress. For some, just thinking about a trigger or a single smaller triggers can cause stress. You know, they call it a chilling effect. Like if something has happened to you and you just go or see or feel something from what happened years ago, that's a trigger. It's a chilling effect. You can get right back into the moment of your stressfulness about what was going on. It says there's no specific reason why an individual may feel less stressed than another when facing the same issue. However, mental health issues such as depression, accumulated a sense of frustration, injustices, anxiety may make some people feel stressed more easily than others. Incidentally, I got this off of the CPR certification.com, which talks about how people who are dealing with, emergency issues or looking at becoming certified as a health professional, this is the information they need to know. So what I'm telling you is off of the site that says this is what they do. This is what they need to know. It says past events may also affect how one reacts towards stressing issues. Stressful jobs. It says the military, anyone in emergency services. Now, those are the people that are helping you. You don't think they're under stress? Every time I ride in my car and I see someone not pulling over, for an ambulance driver, all I can think of is, oh my God, now that's stress on top of stress. The ambulance persons are trying to get the individual to medical assistance real quickly, and others won't stop. I know you've seen it. They won't pull over, and I know in some states it's worse than others. You have to pull over, but I've seen it here in Florida where I live, where they may not pull over. The music is so loud they don't hear anything. And then, there you have an ambulance approaching an intersection, and literally they have to stop and wait with the sirens going, hoping that someone on their horn that they will be seen. But that to me would be a stressful job. I couldn't do it. And it says also debriefing sessions where it takes people back through the incidences that they've been through, like someone that's been imprisoned someplace in another country. Child, I'd come back probably 2 pounds, 2 ounces if I'm in another country and my rights have been, and liberties of moving around have been taken away. Oh my goodness. I can already tell you I'm gonna be crazy if I'm ever in jail. Like I saw this morning on TV, I watched this morning on TV where that 70s guy was given 30 years to life for crimes, rape crimes. Wow. That's all I can say is wow. I won't be locked up one day, not 1 hour, not 1 minute. So that to me, I'm going to stay on the side of I don't want to do nothing like that. I don't want to stress myself for the rest of my life, because that's what I believe it would be. Maurice, good morning. Good morning. It's good to have you with us. And it says, I just had to pull over for an ambulance 10 minutes ago. Yeah, but you did. But I watched yesterday where some people didn't. They basically were riding right alongside them instead of, and it wasn't like they had multiple lanes to get into. There were only the 2 lanes going, and it was up towards the mall. And I'm thinking, oh my goodness, why wouldn't they just pull over? Somebody's life is in the balance here. But people don't always pay attention. That's probably the good word. One of the things they say that you have to look out for when you have these stressors, it says regular exercise. How many of you do regular exercise? Now, I have to admit, I used to have a trainer and I did it regularly for 14 and a half years. Was regular. Okay. But then the pandemic came and they weren't really covering up enough for me. And I'm older. All I kept thinking of is, child, I don't want to be the statistic. So I'm going to have to pull out. I'm not going to do that. But as I've gotten to the point where I'm doing things on my own, I do walk a lot and I do stairs in my house all the time. So people could come to my house and get tired going up one time. I generally, before I do my presentation, I've been up and down the stairs at least 4 or 5 times. And I have from where I'm sitting to get all the way upstairs, I think it's 14 or 15 steps, 14 steps. It's pretty impressive. So I do them all day long. And I purposefully leave stuff upstairs So I have to go back up, and then I do the same thing for the down. It's just a way. It's how you trick yourself into realizing I must do more. And I'm getting ready. I sign up to do the Alzheimer's walk. If you all would like to walk with the Pensacola Subwest Rotaries team, sign up. You know, you don't have. We love you to give a little donation. I'll take you $10. It's online. Hit me up and I'll send you the link. But it's going to be fun. It's 3.1 miles. So it's a 5K. And that's October 1st. So once again, I'm pushing. See, I have on my little Rotary stuff. I'm pushing the idea that we should be doing that. It also says that if you can find ways to relax, how do you all relax? Do you sit down and just, quietly listen to music with nothing else on? Like my relaxation is I love jazz, contemporary jazz, and I also love classical music. So I would just sometimes sit down and just play some classical music and just chill out, just getting myself to where it's just comfortable. And it says, here's one of the things that affects your health. I don't know if any of you all are diabetics, but it says that stress is one of those things that can cause, it says recurrent stress increases one's risk of type 2 diabetes. Recurrent stress. Now, I told you all I went to the doctor a couple of weeks ago, and I told her I had diabetes. But I do have the high blood pressure. But I figured by now, as old as I am, I done moved into other areas of physical diseases. And she calls me and tells me, no, you don't. So at least I'm doing enough so far to ward off that thing, that D of diabetes. I don't want it. But it also says heart disease, all of those things, chronic depression, anxiety, mental disorders, post-traumatic stress disorders, all these lead to it being a chronic condition that you have. And it says chronic stress may continue unnoticed as people become used to feeling agitated and hopeless. So some people actually become used to what is going on with them. So anyway, I just wanted to talk about that because, I don't know about you, but this is trying times we're in. The economy, the gas, the food, I get sick of the public, politics on TV and now the strikes. So I'm watching same thing. In fact, last night, I tell you what my happy is. My happy is I love watching the old Andy Griffith show. So I found it on Pluto, and Pluto TV runs it. They have their own channel. So I run all of that. And of course, I love seeing Ernest T. Bass and all of those folks. He was a brick thrower. I think if I was in my other life and crazy, I would be the one to throw in the bricks. I'm just going to let y'all know. But anyway, I gave y'all a session on the whole thing of stress, but I'm not going to read the other poem I had. That's too long. So let's go on to stress. What is stress? It says stress is pressure. Sometimes it's internal pressure. It's a state of our mental and emotional strain or tension resulting of something that we may consider adverse or demanding circumstances. Now, we can have happy stress and still be stressed. We can be excited. I'm going to get married. We can be excited. I just got engaged. We can be, oh, what are the plans? And everybody's pushing you here and there. What are you going to do? How are you going to do it? Where? Stress. It just comes. So stress is pressure. It's worry. It's nervousness. It is trouble. How many of you can identify to any of these? It's difficulty. It's distress, trauma, pain, grief. Anyone's lost a loved one, it's grief. It's a hassle, okay? It's anxiety, and it's distress. All of those, adjectives just explain the fact that we have opportunity to be very stressful. Yes. Thank you, Joan. Sadness. Sadness. How many of us? Sensitivity. That's good. Very good. Um, for me, for my first S, I have it strain on us. It's a strain. It's a strain for me to continually going back over things I can't correct. It's strain, you know. It says a severe or excessive demand on my strength, my resources, money, or my abilities. I'm tired of something or someone. How many of you have been in those situations? We all can relate. It says it is the demands that are made on us, the burdens that we carry. I always remember them talking about our burdens. When I was little, I said, "Well, burden." I couldn't relate because I was young. But once you get older and you get in a position where you're a parent, or you're somebody's employee, or you're responsible over a particular program, or you're the executive director, you understand strain. You understand what it is doing to you as how you are pressured. It forms stress. I don't care how good you are. As I said, on externally, maybe nobody knows it. Strung out. Then you write about it. You may not know it. You just may not know it because you've gotten used to it. I think we can become, used to what we go through. And so we tell everyone else it doesn't bother us. Internally, it's bothering us. It is. It's taking us down. So thank you for that. When I move on in my word, incidentally, are you stuck? Sometimes we are. My T in my stress is tension. I believe that when I am stressed, I feel all the tension. Shell shocked. It's true. I feel all the tension. Sometimes it's in my head, where I'm feeling a headache. It might be in my neck. It might be that my body feels tense. I'm not comfortable in it. That's how we feel when we feel that tension. And it says tension it's an emotional and mental strain. There's that word again, strain, that causes us to just be kind of funny feeling. We realize it could be anxiety, it could be our worry, it could be our uneasement, our stress, our pressure. We may feel unbalanced. How many of us have feel unbalanced with our terror? Oh, come on now. How many of us have been put in situations where we can feel the terror of what is going on? I just think about all the people who went through the Maui fires, a month ago, it says. I mean, it's hard to believe it's been a month, but all those people that either lost loved ones, lost their homes, all of their property, lost a place to live. To me, that is the highest stress. How could you not be stressed? And how do you move forward without feeling the stress of looking for a house, never replacing someone that you've lost, never finding anything that was your property? Oh my God. Oh my God. It and to me, I know my higher power is God. So that's for me. What do other people do if they have nothing and they know no one to put it up with? Burying your relatives, you know, ultimate stress, ultimate, not to see somebody again. you know, it has to be brutally, heartfelt, deeply felt, and very, very worrisome every time you have to face something that they were a part of. Tormented, ooh, good. Tendency, yes. Terror, tendency, tormented, testy. Come on now. Sometimes we are tested to our limits, are we not? We are tested. We're tested by people, by places that we have to go, things we have to do. It's all around us. Stress, no matter where it's all around us. And sometimes stress comes out of something good, or let me start this way. It started good. It may become more and more stressful as we move closer to it. That's what stress does. Stress to me is something that can increase in its amount that we take on as we approach an event, or we approach certain people, or we just approach the everydayness of what's out there, for us. So, it also talks about the tension being, it can't be contained. Sometimes tension is like it's beyond who we are. We're just trying to deal with it. We're trying to deal with it. My first R when I move on in my word is restlessness. How many of you, and don't look, put a yes in there. Just put an R in there, meaning yes, you are restless at times. I know I get restless. Sometimes I can't sleep. In fact, I was trying to figure out, well, did I have coffee late? Did I have tea late? Was it last night, the night before last? No, I didn't. Joan, racism. That's stress. That's stress. Joan says yes for the restlessness. Sometimes I just can't rest. I just can't sleep. So I'll get up and read. I'll get up and do something else that gets me kind of, redirected and making myself sleepy, restricted. Okay. Yes. Because sometimes we are restricted, rattled. Oh, that's good too. Rattled, racism, restricted. We're all of those things. The restlessness talks about the inability to rest or relax as a result of your anxiety, which is also a part of us going through our stress. And it says it's a period of time when we may be feeling tense beyond compare, fretfulness, okay, impatience, insomnia. There it is right there. And insomnia, reassurance. Okay, sometimes we need reassurance when we're going through our stressful periods. And it says watchfulness. How many of you have sat around and watched the clock tick and you're wide awake at night? Or you're waiting for the doctor. You get restfulness. You just say, oh, when are they coming? Recovery. That's really good. When you're waiting on somebody else coming out of being unconscious from an operation, recovery. They're in recovery and you're stressed because you're saying, okay, are they going to wake up? Is everything all right? We do it. We do it. We do it. It says also we may get the jitters, where we have jitteriness, apprehension. We become, basically apprehensive because we can't control. Sometimes we can't control a lot of the things that we're a part of. We cannot make the price of milk, bread, gas go down. And every time we have to put that card out there for it to be paid, we said, what in the world? This wasn't like this last year or the 2 years ago. We realize, and and the other thing we realize is that somewhere, some companies, someone who has much more money than you and I are becoming very, very rich over the increase. Because some things I believe it was a fleecing. And I know that's not part of our word, but I believe there was a fleecing that happened that made it where the rich could become richer. And those of us who are poorer, I didn't say the poor, but who are poorer are struggling. We're struggling with what used to be very comfortable for us, recreate. That's really good too. When I move further on in the world, for my first S, I have suffering, because I believe that some people who are stressed suffer, even though they may never tell you. You may see them every time. Hello, Miss Lurleen. Hello, Miss Lurleen. Miss Lurleen may say hello, may smile at you, but she continues to walk on with her stressors that she holds on to, that she holds on to. I remember when for myself, when I had cancer, I didn't tell anybody I told two people, because it does say that that's one of the ways it reduced some of your stress. It didn't reduce all of it because I still had to be operated on. So, even if I told it, it wasn't enough. I still had a personal, what I call a personal mental and emotional suffering that goes on. And that's what happens to us. Sensitive. We do need to be sensitive. And okay, that was executing, earmarked. Well, anyway, we didn't do S yet. So you were already doing the E's. The suffering says that that when we're going through a period where something is very, very bad and unpleasant, we suffer. How many of us know that? Yes. It says there's hurt. There may be achy pain. There may be agonizing things that we're doing. It may be something that we're undergoing we cannot even explain to others. It may be an experience that tortures us. How many of us have been tortured by our experiences? Many of us have. It's something that we endure personally, something that we face even though we don't want to face it. It's forced on us. Something that we bear. It becomes our hardships, our tribulations. That's just it. That's it. So I have suffering, and the other oops, did I skip the E? I know why you guys went to E. I had to endure. I'm sorry. I had endure, and then my paper skipped around. That's because I had picked them up and just clipped them together without realizing. Yeah, I have endure. So you all are right. So extort, earmarked, exhorted, explosive. Okay. Emergency. How many of us have been through emergencies which call us to go into our stress period? Enlarged. Sometimes things become bigger than us, so we must endure things. There is great suffering. It says, and how do we become patient with something that is painful to us, either to think about or physically feel? Emotional. That's good. It says we must realize that when we endure something, we're going to experience it from top to bottom. We're going to meet it at whatever it comes, however it comes to us. It says there will be suffering, but we will attempt in every way to tolerate it. We will brave it out. How many of us have braved out things that we had no expectations of believing that first it would come and then that we had to deal with it? Hand raised. It says we will weather the storm. We will make the best of it. I think any person that's ever heard, themselves told that they have cancer. First comes the fear. First comes, well, how am I going to get through this? It's almost like a plan comes into your head before you fully absorb the fact that, the fear is already there. You're already stressed as soon as they tell you that. But it is what it is. And you said, how do you stand it and stomach it? It's hard. It's very, very hard. So life is. Debbie says me. My last S is the struggle. That's my S. The struggle. We will go through a struggle. It says it's a forceful and sometimes, and it could be a violent effort to get free of what those restraints that somebody mentioned earlier of us do to us. It is how do we resist the attack? How do we resist the attack that we see coming? How do we get it beyond it? It's so difficult. It is. It says that we might be fighting as much as we can. We might be fighting it mentally. We might be fighting it emotionally. We might be fighting it physically. Sometimes we don't know how we are going to react to something until it happens. Okay. Sanity. That's it. Because you could snap. There's probably been many a person that once they've been handed certain things that they don't handle them well emotionally. Yeah, how many of us have been scared to death? Thank you, Debbie. Strained, scared to death, snapped, sanity, absolutely all good. All good. Um, the struggle says that we don't know how to resist an attack because we realize that it is an attack. Scary. You ain't kidding. You know, it says that we are going to be skimmish, um, and that we might be have a what they call a melee or melee, melee. We may realize that we've encountered something that's hard for us to deal with, spaced out. Oh, that's good. Significant, yes. I think anytime we're going through struggles like this, it is a significant struggle for us. Starved, starved for the right reasons and not the wrong. You know, we're starved for how do we get away from this thing that's pulling on us, pulling us down. And it says it is definitely it is a disturbance, you know, and it is where we've been scraped. Sometimes we've been scraped and to the bottom of the ground. We've been pulled all the way down only because we didn't realize all the stress that came with what we were given. But we realized squirrely. Oh yeah, I love squirrely. Sometimes we end up with squirrely situations. They just happen to us. We don't really know how to get beyond them, but they are something that weigh on us heavily. You know, we become overwhelmed, overwhelmed. But I know that our society has just made it where, you know, I always wonder. This is my wonder. I always wonder when I'm writing these things up. What about back in, you know, before AD or subsequent to AD? What did people do with the stressors? And I know the world has, you know, been, you know, done and added to so much since those days. But you know, then I look at what happened. They still were able to work of what the work was required for them at that time, like the pyramids and the Sphinx and all those things are just wonderments. And I always wonder, wow, that had to be stressful for them to do all that, to assemble those things, which became, you know, the wonders of a world later on. How did they do it? And here we are, you know, now with this, you know, what is it, the bot, all of the bot talk, you know, of having them be able to listen to a voice and have it repeated as if I said it. Didn't say I said it, not the human Sandy, but yet and still they're able to recreate it and steal it. To me, that's stressful, even because I am, you know, one that comes on social media regularly. So how it's a possibility of stealing identity or stealing what I said and placing the voice into something that I didn't say. Scary. So here's a couple of questions. You don't have to answer them. Currently, are you stressed? We don't know. You do. I don't know. You do. Do you get strained or stressed easily from having so many things to do? You know, serenity now. Yes, absolutely. We need serenity. Do you have tension, pressure points? You know, they said there's a couple of pressure points that you can, you know, do on your body that supposedly are ways to relieve stress. Look them up. And it says, does what you're going through interfere and cause you more stress because you don't know how to do it? So anyway, this was one of those days that I was going to say the weekend is coming, maybe since the holiday is over and the family's gone and all the preparation for you to have to be all that for everybody else. Maybe you have time to de-stress, because more holidays are coming, especially Thanksgiving, and then on to December, which is Thanksgiving and Happy New Year. So how do you get through all those stresses, those stress periods, if you don't plan to do some things for yourself? Self-love is good. Oh, I love it. Self-love. How do we do that? How do we realize that we need to, rest? We need to find our rest. We need to take out the strain and remove the tensions, no suffering whatsoever. We just said, oh, well, whatever it will be, it will be, I think in Italian, it's che sarà, whatever will be, and also we'll endure what we're supposed to endure and let go of the struggle, because sometimes we interfere with how well we live. We interfere with how well we live, living with the idea of truth being replaced with lies. Yeah, that's tough. It is very tough that we realize that we can't change what's in our airways. We can't, because I think there's a lot of people around who get great joy out of stressing others out. That's a good way of putting it, with what they say and the soundbite. Let's face it, people want to be seen and heard. Not always saying that what they're saying or what they're giving needs to be given any attention, but the fact that we heard it starts the idea that, well, they could have kept that to themselves, but that's not their intention. Listen, I want you all to have a wonderful weekend. I want it to be that you enjoy yourself, relax. It also says that to reduce stress, eat some foods that are a little bit healthier to your systems, exercise a little bit, find time to just, meditate or chill out. You don't have to meditate itself. You don't know how to do it. You can just chill out. And then also just talking with people that you love, letting go of things that you cannot control. If you can't control them, don't worry about them. Can't control it. Can't control other people. I always telling my daughter, there's 3 P's you cannot do. You can't control, personal things that happen to you. You can't control people, and you can't control other people's possessions or power. That's the 4th. Even if it's perceived, it's still power. Sometimes people are powerful over you only because you let them be it. But anyway, I'm done for the day. Absolutely. Love you guys. Thanks, Rhoda, for coming in. I believe in you all. I encourage you to be stress-free this weekend, okay? Stress-free. And I'll see you on Monday. I'll be back. I love you guys. If you don't do anything else, hit like, love, and I'd love it if you share it, okay? No money. Just share it. Appreciate you. Have a good weekend. Be safe. Thank you. Bye-bye.